Since Supermassive Games have made a point of hiding pieces of information in their characters' clothing, such as Conrad's Salem shirt that points to the witch trials that form the backbone of Little Hope's plot, or Nick's Chicago t-shirt which reminds us that H.H. Holmes murdered a bunch of people in the Windy City. So, might there be any clues to find in the clothing that the Quarry characters are wearing? Yes, actually. There's one definite clue already, so let's take a look at a bunch of costumes and see what we can find. First, the definite clue. I'm not going to pretend that this is easy to see, but in the prologue, just after he's drugged Laura, Travis stands up slowly. While he's doing this, there's a handful of frames in which you can see the name tag on his police uniform. If we take a closer look at it, like way too close, we can see the initial T and then what looks to be the name Hackett. This matches Chris's name tag, which reads C. Hackett. This confirms some kind of a relationship between Travis and Chris. Is Travis the resolute older brother devoted to protecting his younger brother, even though he turns into a monster once a month? Or is there something weirder going on, and Chris is some kind of a cursed monster that lives an extremely long time, and Travis is his son or nephew? That possibility is a little more far-fetched, of course, but fun to mention nonetheless. So that's one solid lead from clothing. Let's see what else there might be to find. First up is Nick's shirt, which says Mannington on it, as well as featuring two alligators and what could be an evil eye or a football in the middle. I sadly can't read the tiny text at the bottom of his shirt. Maybe it's a date? This is a super hard thing to research via Google because Mannington is the name of a super prominent flooring company in America, which eats up a lot of search bandwidth. I did, however, discover that Mannington is the name of a township with under 2,000 people in it in southwestern New Jersey. That's pretty far from upstate New York, but given that Max and Laura apparently traveled all the way from North Carolina for this summer job, maybe that's Nick's hometown? No idea what gators have to do with New Jersey, though, unless they just want us to think about lake monsters? Now, I know what you're thinking. A lake in upstate New York can't possibly have two killer gators in it, but may I point you towards the little film called Lake Placid? That's not backing up my case at all, is it? Next we have Ryan's shirt, which seems to be for a band called No Future Club, in support of their album Cult Damage. As far as I can tell, this isn't a real band, so we'll just have to take it as face value, and guess that it's implying that the villains of the Quarry make up some kind of a cult, and the characters, unless they're very clever and careful, have no future. Dylan's shirt is basically a mirror image version of Ryan's, black on gray instead of gray on black, and it seems to be a band shirt as well, for something called the Undance Tour in 1988. Is it also a No Future Club shirt, and that's what they bond over? Abigail's shirt doesn't have any obvious clues, but it's super interesting nonetheless. The crescent moon at the top and the wing arrangement on the moth immediately called to mind the brooch and vampires from House of Ashes. Notably, a real Death's Head moth doesn't have these bonus wings down at the bottom. They seem to have been added solely to make it look more like the bat creatures. The moth itself might be metaphorically relevant. It starts out as a caterpillar that looks relatively benign, then transforms into something frightening. A journey that one or more of the characters may go through during the game. Also, her belt says 59 over and over again, both in text and numbers. I don't know what that's about. Finally, we've got Caitlin, who's wearing a sweatshirt with a picture of the lodge on it, and below the picture it says Hackett's Quarry. What's interesting about this sweatshirt is how old it is. The image is faded, and the presumably frayed bottom has been removed to transform it into a crop top. So she's likely had this sweatshirt for a while. One summer's worth of washing wouldn't wear it down that much. Does this mean that Caitlin has been a counselor in previous years? Does she have more information about the camp based on her experiences there? So yes, Supermassive has continued the practice of layering in clues and references into characters' clothing, because they care about the details. I've been the Hidden Object Guru, thanks for watching. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. If you'd like to support the channel, consider checking out our Patreon. You can join heroic patrons like Marissa, Joanne, Eduardo, Brian, and Archer in helping keep the lights on around here. If you'd like to see more, there's nightly streams and plenty of videos to check out. We'll see you back here for the next thing, but until then, au revoir.